your trusted friends with an inside scoop on the diamond world.
Just like they are to thousands of people around the world.
And just like we have been for over 34 years.
At Diamond Dave's, it's all about the diamonds and the savings, not paying for high-end retail locations or the overhead of a mall.
You stand to save big time with our by-appointment professional office approach combined with direct importing.
When you choose Diamond Dave's, you choose huge savings, top quality, and excellent service. Call, email, or message us for an in-person appointment.
Or sit back and relax for free FedEx shipping anywhere in the USA.
Call Diamond Dave at 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow him on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
Sports bettors, we've all been there. You have a live bet lined up, you check the odds one more time, place the bet only to see the bet delayed by the spinny wheel, line move, and your bet rejected. My name's Alex Kane, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sporttrade, Arizona's newest sports betting app. At the core of the Sporttrade offering is our probability-based odds. In other words, the Cardinals may be offered at 55% odds to win, a lot simpler than minus 125. Place your bet at 55% odds, and as your win probability changes, so does the value of your bet, giving you the ability to cash out with total control. And the best part, no spinning wheels. Live bets on Sporttrade are instantly accepted. Download Sporttrade on your iPhone today and use code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Terms apply.
Sporttrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 in MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer suggested retail price. Manufacturer suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Monday here on the Daily Blender. Your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He might be back tomorrow, but we got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Yeah, I'm just standing here just sort of in my own head. And I'm like, holy crap, show starting. And so I have posted up the YouTube feed for the people who like to watch us like a TV show on the Twitter and on the old Facebook. And then I realized I keep seeing people talking to like, hey, I'm going someplace else. And it's like, are we supposed to be on Threads now? Or are we on? And what is, I don't know what this blue sky thing is there's too many Twitters. I think there's too many Twitters.
Yeah.
Where am I supposed to do these things?
I don't know. It's a little split. I haven't done anything, so I've just used Twitter less. So I can't. I don't know if I can tell you, to be honest.
Well, I just need to know where we're supposed to be. Nobody's telling me anything.
A lot of people are moving to the Blue Sky app, which is like Twitter, but it doesn't have the algorithm stuff, so you can just you basically see the tweets or the posts in order of how they're put out there.
That's cool.
Yeah, it actually is a little bit, but
until they figure it out, and the next thing you know, it's just the same old garbage, right?
I mean, maybe it seems like they're trying to make it specifically not that, like on purpose. They kind of understand what was going on with Twitter, and they're trying to make it look like Twitter, but not actually Twitter.
Well, somebody tell me where the hell I'm supposed to be doing things. That's the thing I don't have. I need just, you know what? I'll go where you want me to go. If somebody tell me where I'm supposed to go, because now there's like all these different Twitters, and I don't know. There's only, I guess Facebook is just kind of hung around for the old folks, and I don't know. I don't think I can post up the feed for Instagram or anything. I just don't know where I'm supposed to be, and I know that makes me sound like a very, very old man. But I mean, don't the younger people get confused by all this crap too? Because there's got the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Snapchat, the I don't know what else. I just don't know what I don't know where I'm supposed to be.
I think people just use the stuff that's useful to them. I don't know that. I'm not worried about where you're supposed to be. I just use the stuff that's an interface I kind of like using, so I'll just use that one.
Moist one. I don't think Ashley Madison is a social media platform. I have a feeling that's not what you think it is, but whatever. All right. Well, I put it up where I usually put it, but if I need to change something, somebody let me know. I'm not putting it at Ashley Madison. That's for damn sure. But here's what I do know is a whole lot of stuff happening over the weekend. A lot of fun stuff. Friday night, I got to sit there and try to figure out which version I was going to be able to put up on the screen for my wife. My wife wanted to watch the Tyson Paul fight more than I did. But here I was responsible sitting on the couch trying to get it on my phone or get it to work on the TV or get it to work on the other TV. And none of it was working. And it kept thinky wheeling. And it was just about damn near impossible to get a good feed to watch everything was happening. And so in the practice round, which was those two gals fighting, I was like, oh, crap, that's a good fight. You know, this is pretty good, except for, hey, I know you're Irish, and that's cool, but what are you headbutting that girl for? Just take it easy. Quit rubbing your braid into her cut on her eye. And anyway, so I'm doing all this, and I'm trying to keep a working version, but man, okay, so here's the following. The fight between Tyson and Paul sucked. The feed from Netflix, you don't need to be doing this anymore. You don't need to be doing this anymore. That sucked. They didn't have their stuff together. And then I was like, hey, honey, look, the screen is perfectly clear. Here's Mike Tyson doing a pre-fight interview with his son. And she's like, oh, yeah, it looks great. And then he kisses his son. She's like, oh, and he walks away. And she's like, ah, my eyes. He's this bare 58-year-old ass walking away from me.
I was at Buffalo Wild Wings because I was in the mood for some wings, and then it occurred to me, oh, they're going to try and put on the fight. So they did. And the entire building of people all said at the same time, whoa, like all at once in unison, like we planned to do that. But we didn't plan to do that. Also, because Jake Paul's audience is largely kids. Sure. There were an awful lot of kids that were there to see Mike Tyson's bare ass, and their parents were scrambling to cover their eyes. And it was
why cover their eyes at that point? Damage is done. This is what your ass looks like when you're 58. And I looked at that ass, and I'm like, my ass looks better than that at 54. Is that going to look like my ass at 55? Of course, I mean, I don't know. We've lived different lives, but anyway. So yeah, I'm watching this fight, and there's Mike Tyson. He spent more time chewing on his gloves than he did throwing punches. And he just, here's the thing. The fix was absolutely in, as we thought it would be. It was an absolute waste of time, as we thought it would be. But you can't find that out unless you experience it. And so that's what we did.
I did not.
Well, I know you didn't, but my wife and I did. And so, there is this moment at the beginning where Tyson just like pop jabs him, and like Jake Paul's eyes got huge. And it was almost like, we didn't agree to that, and then, they weren't really fighting. They had a deal beforehand. I guarantee you, like I told you, Mayweather and Conor McGregor probably had the same thing. Don't hit me too hard. We'll just make it look good for a while. I'll get 40 million, you get 20 million, and we'll all go home. And I won't embarrass you if you don't embarrass me. Guarantee you, those words were spoken in that fight and in this one. Don't embarrass me, and I won't embarrass you.
The highlights that they put up on the ESPN highlights. It's
there
doing
were no highlights.
Is doing a lot of heavy lifting. There is a word, but the clips of it that they put on the ESPN, it honestly looked like Jake was doing the carrying and trying not to hurt Tyson too bad.
No, absolutely. No, I'm not saying that Tyson had any kind of hope in any of this. I'm just saying that one was the one that was like a telltale thing. It was in the first or second round. I'm like, okay, Mike Tyson, why didn't you go ballistic on him there? I thought there'd be at least one flurry from Mike Tyson where he would go ballistic on Jake Paul, win or lose. Maybe he was just trying not to get knocked out, but I thought there'd be at least one dignity preserving flurry. Nothing.
I don't know. When George Foreman came out of retirement to fight at like 50, like that's what he looked like to me. Just slow and old. And if it didn't work for Foreman, it wasn't going to work for Tyson. I don't know. I've been saying it for like 2 weeks, like a YouTuber and a 58-year-old man fighting. I don't care that the 58-year-old man is Mike Tyson. He looked every bit of 58 years old out there in a boxing ring.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think he could have done better. I think he could have done better than we saw. And I think Jake Paul probably could have destroyed him and put him in the ground in the first round. So those two things can both be true. But what the most honest thing I saw was Jake Paul's eyes getting big when he took one solid jab from Mike Tyson. He's like, oh, he's like, okay, wait, what? What's going on here? And then that was the end of that. So yeah, not worth it. Not worth it. And I don't know if the 60 million people being able to watch this fight, they are, like, hey, we had 60 million people trying to watch the fight is what you should have put in this sentence, but I don't know about actually watching. And then, of course, people over at Fox, they're like, well, so here's the thing. They didn't ask Nielsen to judge this, and they're not releasing how they came up with their numbers. So people are kind of a little bit suspicious about the numbers. I'm not suspicious about the numbers. I mean, there's just no way Netflix should be trusted with any live sports for a long time after this.
Yeah.
Except
that they have 2 football games coming up this year. So,
well, the football games will not have 60 million people watching at a time. They'll have 10, 15 maybe watching at a time. That I think they can probably handle. But the word on the street is Beyonce is supposed to perform at the Christmas game in Houston. And so that might bring the viewing totals up a little higher. And if that brings the viewing totals up, that means they're going to be the same problem. You get what I'm saying. 888-368-1580. So we don't have a whole ton of time to sit around and talk about this. Although I am going to do this week, we're going to talk about all this stuff. And then at 4 p.m., we'll start talking about all the different football games that happened over the weekend. And that'll lead us up to Monday night football at 5:30 p.m. So, yeah, I don't want to go get too bogged down in the text messages because we have lots of cool sports stuff that we do want to talk about. 2968 says that fight was a flaming pile. And because I'm having a Netflix moment on my computer, I don't know the rest of what he said. Jesus, I can't escape this.
Yeah, the text line brought to you by Netflix.
Makes me wonder if I'm just, maybe it's me. I don't know. But there's one thing I did notice at that fight, and Jerry Jones, you should be ashamed of yourself. They already have curtains. They already have the physical curtains there because they use them to keep the sun out of the stadium during the fight. They already own the curtains. Have you seen the pictures? There's just a bunch of black curtains covering up the windows. It's like, Jerry, you already have them. If the players are like, yeah, can we use those? No. Why not? We own them. So it's not even a money issue.
He just doesn't want to. And by the way, Jerry Jones was heavily involved in the construction of this building because of course he was. And look, if he wanted it oriented in such a way that the sun didn't come in through that particular window, he could have done that, which means that's what he wanted.
Jerry, you're blinding your own players. You cost yourself a touchdown. You're doing these things at a time where the Dallas Cowboys haven't won a home game this year. And in the 5 home games you've had, you have been beaten by over 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, close the goddamn curtain. What is wrong with you? I ain't doing it. Okay. Right. That's whatever you want. So now I can see it. 2968 says that fight was a flaming pile of garbage. Can't believe I watched that. How are we supposed to watch football on Christmas Day with all those live streaming issues? Well, like I said, it probably won't be as many people watching on Christmas Day. But here's the thing, maybe look at your family, talk to the people who are around you, and just enjoy. Bear Claw says, that chick fight before the main event was 100 times better. Well, even that was fixed. Even that was rigged. Listen, I was like, oh, look, an Irish gal. And I was like, all right, there you go. Great. And then here comes the Puerto Rican girl. I'm like, oh, she looks pretty good too. And they start to fighting. And very quickly, the Irish girl headbutts the other one, opens up her eyeball. And then after that, it was just kind of like, oh, that's kind of sad. But Bull Serrano, the Puerto Rican, beat the living crap. I mean, she put so many hits on her butt. The Irish girl, she kept standing. And you're like, a couple times she got wobbly. And you're like, ooh, okay, good for her too. But no, Serrano clearly won. She clearly got the most shots in. I mean, you can sit there and rub your braid on somebody's face all you want. That ain't boxing. And then at the end of the fight, they're like, hey, the Irish girl wins. And you're like, what? How did you do that? Who scored this? And then it's like, I'm just confused. And so was Amanda Serrano. She says, I landed 107 more punches. She got a point deducted. And I lost 95-94. And she's just laughing it off. She's like, I don't even know what to tell you.
Yeah, there's nothing to be said there. And that is
more numbers. 724 punches came from Serrano. She landed 329. So 329, pow. Taylor threw 217. She landed 217. She threw only 529. I feel like 329 to 217. I guess it depends on where you punch them. I don't know. I just don't know how the hell they scored this other than the fix was it. It everything is fixed.
It's a very interesting way that played out. I didn't catch the end of that one. I actually did, but I did catch the fight before that one.
I was trying to catch the fight before that one.
Barrios,
looked like it might have been good.
Barrios and Ramos. That was a war. Those guys were they were trying to kill each other.
Well, I thought Barrios had it under control. Next thing you know, he's staggering, and then that's when the thinky wheel. I'm just sitting there. I never got to see the rest of the fight.
Yeah, no, that was a hell of a fight. Insane. But yeah, as far as Taylor and Serrano, that's boxing shenanigans. That's the only way you could describe that. That is what that is, unfortunately.
Just the tip on the text line says, I'm a big fan of Keon. Listen to his weekend show every chance I get. Long time I stayed away because of some guy. I thought you stayed away because of me. He says, Tyson Paul rematch coming up. No. And nobody would watch it.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody
wants that.
Don't want Jake Paul and anybody. I ain't watching any more. I mean, this was, if I didn't already have Netflix, I would not have paid for it. If I paid for it, if you got Netflix just to see this, boy, I hope you found something else to watch on there because, that would. Bear Claw says, well, your curtain scenario throws out my theory of the sun getting in Mike Tyson's eyes. Yeah, they had him closed. Bullseye says, breaking news just came across my desk. The NBA's last 2-minute report determined that Minnesota Timberwolves star Julius Randle traveled before he hit the game winner over the Phoenix Suns, Josh Okogie, on Sunday.
There's also an offensive foul, but sure.
But the league's transparent review process for close games also determined that Randle did not push off of Okogie, who went flying onto the deck before Randle hit the three at the buzzer.
I disagree with that.
Sounds legit to me.
I watched it like 5 times. He absolutely pushed off. I don't know in what universe that wouldn't be an offensive foul.
I don't know in universe they think that the Suns wouldn't win if Kevin Durant had been there. Big George is on the text line. Did you get my text Saturday night? George, nobody's here on Saturday night. Nobody.
You're welcome to text Saturday night, but I don't know
By
who
the way,
you would be texting.
No, we didn't get it. We got a text from you on okay. If you mean like 11 p.m. Saturday night, for us it was 12 a.m. because we're in the future. So yes, I see it. What's your point? He says, I'm just excited for ASU. We're gonna get there. We're getting there. Just hang in there, George. We're getting there. Devil Hawk says, wow, Giants are gonna be starting Tommy Cutlass this weekend. Yeah. And by the way, can I just say something? They didn't just demote him, Daniel Jones, in favor of Tommy Cutlass. They sent him straight down to QB3. What does that tell you?
They're
They
done.
actually think they can get a trade for him.
I mean,
Or else why would they not have him sitting there as a backup?
I suppose they're welcome to try, but I don't.
Nobody
think,
wants
but
him.
I don't think that I think the reason why they sent him past backup is they're done. They
Well,
don't
Dunn
want
is fine.
They don't want a world where Tommy DeVito gets injured, and then when you said we're done with Daniel Jones, now you've got to play him again. I don't think they want that. When you say you're done with the guy, you have to be done with the guy, and they are done with Daniel Jones, and they don't even want a situation where accidentally even Daniel Jones is back out there playing football. You will simply not be dressing on Sunday to play in these games. We can't have you out there.
Unnamed Texture says, wait, was the moon so bright they had to have the curtain closed in Dallas? Well, no, because this whole thing started way earlier in the day when the sun was still up. They had undercard on undercard. We're talking like way back. So that's why they closed the whole thing. Donnie says, it was a flop, you dweeb. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Josh Okogie. Yeah, but he pushed off. It doesn't. Okay, he sold it. The fact is, Julius Randle took his arm and pushed him.
Swozman says the NFL will drop Netflix as a provider if they can't get their act together. I'm sure there's some Netflix management that'll be demoted after the boxing debacle. Did they ever come out and say, what the hell? Did they ever come out and say, oh, we just didn't have enough this or that?
Not that I saw.
See, that's crappy that they haven't even spoke to it yet. Moist One says the only redeeming thing about that fight were them ring girls. Hummina, awooga, he says. Okay. Bear Claw says, I knew when Rosie Perez was a boxing expert, yeah, we were in trouble. That also occurred to me. But it turns out she's been part of the boxing world for a bit.
They had Michael Irvin up there at the desk with Jerry, and then they asked Michael Irvin about the fight. And then his first words were, I don't really watch a whole lot of boxing. Why are you here?
Yep.
Aside from being a representative of the Dallas Cowboys, why are you here?
There was nobody we needed to hear from there.
You don't watch boxing. Why are we listening to you?
Devil Hawk says, well, although the Giants' record and Jones's play were key factors in the move, ownership and general manager Joe Schoen also had to consider there's $23 million injury guarantee in his contract for 25 that becomes fully guaranteed if he gets injured and is unable to pass a physical in the offseason. Well, I mean, they're still guaranteed money either way, I think.
Well, the money for next year would be guaranteed for him if he
So they can get out of him for next year, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the guaranteed money is running out. Like this is the last year of big guaranteed money for the Giants and Daniel Jones. And any guaranteed money that they would owe him next year, he would have to be under contract with them for. So if they can finish the year without him getting hurt, then they get to keep that money.
Quiet Cannon says, Keon, you said the word universe. I'm reminded of Emperor Randy. I hope he's doing okay. Yeah, I just talked to him today. He's fine. Donnie says, I know you guys aren't WWE fans. Well, at least you know something. He says, yeah, but they are moving to Netflix in January and it's going to suck. It sucked before, it'll suck during, and it'll suck after because WWE is fake. It's fake wrestling. It's not real. It's not a sport. It's not entertaining.
If you want to watch it, but
yeah, by all means, watch it and enjoy the thinky wheel. I'm glad that's happening to all the wrestling fans. Make you rethink your life. Go watch.
My goodness.
You want to watch something good, just go watch I don't know. There's tons of great shows on. All right, we got to take a break. We come back. Let's talk about ASU. Had a good weekend. Yes, very good weekend. Got you ranked, just what I did. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. This update brought to you by Sport Trade. Download the Sport Trade app and use code VSIN to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
NBA tonight, the Phoenix Suns hosting the Orlando Magic. The Suns back from a 4-game road trip, but they went 1-3, losing to Minnesota on Sunday on a 3-point buzzer beater by Julius Randle. The Suns continuing to play without Kevin Durant, who is out with a calf injury. They're an underdog tonight against Orlando by 1.5. They're a plus 105 on the money line, while the Magic are minus 125 with an over-under at 209.5, with the over minus 105 and the under minus 115. The Magic come in at 8-6, but they're just 1-6 on the road this season, but are riding a 5-game win streak. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
It's fall football on The Fanatic. Catch all the live game play-by-play. Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday day and night NFL games, plus the Saturday NCAA football game of the week. It's all right here on the Valley's home for football. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Let's go! ABC Wednesday, country music's biggest night, the CMA Awards.
Let's party, Nashville!
Kicks off with this year's must-see collaboration, Post Malone featuring Chris Stapleton live. With electrifying performances by Lainey Wilson, Shabuzi, Ashley McBride, Luke Bryan, plus Thomas Rhett and Teddy Swims. Woo! Luke Bryan, Peyton Manning, and Lainey Wilson host the CMA Awards live Wednesday, 8/7 Central on ABC and stream next day on Hulu.
Monday night means football on The Fanatic.
It's a battle for Texas when Houston travels to Dallas to take on Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, and Joe Mixon lead the Texans under the star of Texas for a battle royale to see who's king of the big state. Texans at Cowboys, Monday night at 5:30.
Your home for live NFL action, the playoffs, and Super Bowl 59. 1580 The Fanatic.
Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. All right, so it's kind of sucked to have to see the Suns struggle lately. But we got a guy out. That's all there is to it.
A couple guys out.
And listen, if you want to make a thing about Julius Randle, end of the game, man. It should not come down to that. There's plenty of other opportunities probably earlier on in the game. So if you want to zero in on that, it's just like, hey, maybe don't be that close to the buzzer. That's all I'm saying. I mean, Phoenix led by 16 points in the first half, and you let the Timberwolves back. So really, that's on you. If you're going to just go ahead and boil it down to that one play at the end, nah.
Well, I get it, but also like the Suns are shorthanded. So like you could be up by 16, but Devin Booker's got to take a rest sometime. And he he's the guy offensively. When he's not out there, there's not a whole lot that they can do without Beal and without Durant out there. So, like they're going up against the Timberwolves, who have Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle. Like the Timberwolves are healthy. Yeah, it sucks, but the fact is, those games are going to be close when you're shorthanded like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, whatever the situation is, I mean, it should not come down to one play. And was there some traveling? Was there some of this? Yeah, maybe. Was it bull crap? Yeah, maybe. But it was just that one play. If that's what we're going to focus on in this report, I don't think there's any reason. Just move on, go to the next game, try to get your W's back. That's all that matters. 888-368-1580. I got something that made me very happy. I don't know if you heard this, but Inside the NBA will continue. They have worked out a deal to appear on ESPN and ABC after this coming season. So, they'll go on, and it's going to go on with Charles Barkley and Shaq and Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson, the whole thing. It'll be the same show instead of on TNT. Now it's going to be on ESPN.
Which is interesting, because I wonder how that's going to work. I'm happy too.
Why won't that work?
Well, because those guys say whatever they want to a certain degree, and ESPN is not exactly big on letting people say whatever they want.
Well, they're going to have to be big on shut the hell up, because Turner Sports is going to continue to independently produce. So unless somebody's going to sit there with a dump button at the ESPN side or just turn it off if they don't like what they hear,
which is it's not going great for them with McAfee. They try that dump button is late every time.
So, I mean, they're going to probably pretend to protest when certain things get said, but outside of that, you can't stop this show. And they're kind of stuck with it because this is part of a settlement after the Warner Brothers Discovery thing, the parent company of TNT, all that sued the NBA in the state court. And so this was the settlement. This is the results of that. So Baker Cocky Hens thinks that ESPN is going to change some. They deal with the UFC. They have to deal with McAfee. Keon always brings up stuff as I type it. Yeah, there's people who do that. There's people who start to bring up stuff as you type it. That's just life.
Yeah.
Type faster.
I didn't even know you were typing it.
Yeah. We don't see a little thing that says Baker's Cocky Hens is about to say the same thing. You know who that is for me, Baker's Cocky Hens? When I watch Al Michaels, when he's calling a game, I'll be sitting there with my wife and I'll say, oh yeah, that was over there by the 30. And he's like, oh, that was over by the 30. Or just I'll be like, oh, that's that person, this, that. It's almost like we're in each other's head. Al Michaels and I share,
great minds.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. The Jet says, hello, gentlemen. I just want to vent my frustration that the Dallas Cowboys are in primetime again. It's 4 years in a row where they're getting every damn primetime game, and they suck. Well, they're going to be flexed out of some, but some they can't be. For instance, that Simpsons version of the game. So they can't be flexed out of that because the animators and all the people who have gotten ready for that, they've done all that work. So they're like, well, we can't take that game away now. So that one with the Bengals in Dallas, when that comes up, there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, I mean, they make a schedule. They try to flex what they can, but you're going to have to see some more Cowboys garbage. Mm-hmm. How about Christmas Day? Christmas Day, you've got Cooper Rush versus Cutlets. That's going to be the midday game. Or is that on Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving. That's right. I just saw it. It's next week. So I would plan the turkey to be served at that time. On our air, it's between 2 and 6. So try to eat. That way it sits off in the background. You don't care about it.
Yeah.
You're eating your food. You're talking to your stupid relatives. You're yelling at each other, you're fighting, you're drunkenness, whatever's happening, plan that between 2 and 6.
A related strategy would be to start a little earlier than that, so that when your food coma really hits, you'll sleep through the most of that game. You just
none of it's going to be great.
Unloosen your top button on your pants and Just have a nice nap.
Here's my prediction. Detroit will stomp the Bears. Who gives a crap between the Giants and Cowboys? And Dolphins and Green Bay? Dolphins, I think, will win that. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to wait till we get there.
Green Bay.
That feels like that could go either way to me.
Yeah. Maybe that turns into a good game. Maybe that does. Anyway, Hurry Harry says, how about those Seahawks? Where's Ralph at? I don't know where Ralph is. Ralph had some weird Twitter fantasy that him and I were watching the Grey Cup together. I'm like, are you high? I'm watching
the Grey Cup.
You know, the
football
in Canada,
the Canadian Football League. But why? I'm trying to understand why does he watch it?
For some reason, he's trying to tell people we were watching it like physically together. Something's wrong with Ralph.
Even remotely together, it doesn't make any sense. Why?
Big George says, Jeffrey, I thought you were going to say me. I often text something that you say yourself mere seconds later without seeing my text. You often say, I already said that, but you say it right after I send it. Yeah, okay. Well, you know, I'd rather drop the name Al Michaels than Big George. You think you can understand that? He's 80. Can you believe he's 80?
I can't, actually. He sounds sharp.
Swazman says, Jeffrey, what do you think about this idea for the NFL? Last 4 teams, probably Carolina, New York, etc., have a 2-game playoff to see who gets the number 1 pick, like a side hustle for the NFL playoffs. Well, who gets the pick, the winner or loser?
Because technically the loser would need that pick more.
No, the loser would be anyone watching because it's just garbage.
Yeah. Someone had a similar idea for the NBA a few weeks ago on the text line. And I just think making bad teams play each other in a tournament is not fun. Who wants to see that?
No, I mean, I get what you're doing, but no. So the NBA fined LaMelo Ball $100,000 because, he used a term, he used a term that, I just don't know how he would apply this. Why he just figured
why he felt the need to say that there and then.
So they were talking about the last play of the game, and Giannis Antetokounmpo was at the top of the key, and he was appropriately defended by Grant Williams. He was trying to do a jumper there, and just completely missed right off the rim there. But so Ball was talking about it, says, "Yeah, we loaded up, no homo." What? Why would you say that?
What? I'm still trying to understand myself.
We loaded up. There's nothing that we were going to take from that.
He did apparently like that. Because to me, if you say that, your mind is already there.
Unless there's some new term for the kids we don't know about loaded up.
Maybe. Who knows? But for whatever reason, he thought that was that applied
or necessary. I mean, listen, LaMelo, that's, unless he's like no homo sapiens, like we had nobody there, I mean,
which if you've heard LaMelo, I think that's a bigger idea that he typically holds in his head. So I don't think that's what he was saying.
So he comes out later and he's like, hey, I really didn't mean anything by it. And I don't want to offend anybody. I've got love for everybody. I don't discriminate. No homo. I was like, you can't stop, LaMelo. I just don't get it, but all right. And then, over there in the world of soccer, there's a dude named Rodrigo Bentancur. They got banned 7 games. Well, he said it was pretty bad too. He was talking about, I don't know if it was one of his teammates or somebody he competes against, but he was just talking about this Korean guy. And he's like, I think it was that guy. Well, they all look the same, It's like, lovely. Oh, Jesus. What the hell, man? What the hell?
Wow, just casually.
Just came right out. Just Sonny's? Oh, yeah, I don't know. It could have been Sonny's cousin, too. I don't know. They all look the same.
That's so messed up.
What do you think's going to happen? You say something like that.
I don't know. Did it even cross his mind as he was saying it? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say it quite like this, except clearly not.
So in both circumstances, LaMelo Ball and this Rodrigo guy, First thing that happens is the league comes out and says, well, we were very upset about this. We're very disappointed. This is not good. Then the team comes out and says, yo, that was unfortunate. We're going to use this as a learning thing because we don't want to give up a good player. They don't say it that way, but that's how they think about stuff. Nobody's getting fired. Nothing's happening. $100,000 fine from the NBA. Well, that's respectable. This guy got banned 7 games.
I don't know.
And $100,000 fine. So he got suspension and a fine.
Yeah.
So, later he's like, just kidding. No, you're
really not. And also, that's still racist, even if you were kidding. Like it doesn't. The joking doesn't make it not racist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I
can't start suddenly swearing on air and go, just kidding, and have the FCC go, okay, wow, yeah, no, that's funny.
Yeah, and then while they're writing you that fine, they'll be laughing at you the whole time. At you, mind you, not with you.
Not with. 888-368-1580. And so before we go to break, we are going to talk about ASU. I know, just calm down. Somebody just kind of took us off into a different direction, but we're coming back around. We'll talk about ASU, I promise. But I am kind of excited about something. Finally, a reason to masturbate to mail again. Oh, Betty White's going to be on a stamp.
Oh,
Betty White is getting her own stamp. She died 3 years ago.
I'm pretty sure that I'm still hung up on the last sentence that you said. And
Betty White's getting a stamp?
No, before that.
Betty didn't tell me you don't think Betty
said,
White was amazing.
You said finally a reason to masturbate to mail again, which is a sentence that I don't think anyone's ever uttered in the history of the English language and potentially the planet Earth.
You're welcome.
See,
Keon's a kid that never got to receive a Sears catalog or a Montgomery Ward's catalog in the mail.
See, now that's just not true.
Finally, a reason to masturbate to the mail again.
I just didn't expect you to say it. All right.
I'm going to get a letter.
I'm a little thrown off.
I need to be alone for a minute.
Oh, boy.
Not a long minute because it's Betty White.
Oh, boy. Speechless.
When is this coming out? Oh, it's not even coming out till next year. It's gonna be a long wait. Devil Hawk says, will the stamp be a current picture? Wait, look, she's a decomposing corpse. No, it'll be an older one. He says, no, don't get me wrong. I'd masturbate to that too. Jesus, Devil Hawk.
Wow.
Jet says, I think it's time for a commercial break. You mind your own business, Jet. I do what I want.
See, Jet, you need to learn the lesson that I learned. I wasn't going to say anything about a commercial break because in saying it, while I'm uncomfortable, we all but guarantee that we're actually not going to go to break right away.
Just a tip says, yeah, by the way, don't forget the brown paper wrap Playboys. Fun times. That's right. I didn't even think about that. We didn't get that. I didn't get that at my house. Anyway, now we'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk about ASU. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmansolar.com.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and.
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Head coach Bobby Hurley and Sun Devil men's basketball are ready to join the Big 12 Conference. This season, the Sun Devils host conference foes Baylor, Iowa State, Arizona, TCU, and Houston, all at Desert Financial Arena.
And another steal ahead to Miller. And Miller reverses it up and in. And he's fouled. Holy moly.
Join the action and get your Sun Devil men's basketball tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
We know how it goes. You can't always tune in and hear your favorite shows and hosts.
Dude, look, I'm a loser. Okay?
It's cool, bro. That's why we post podcasts of your favorite shows and hosts. Listen when you want to. Listen on demand.
That is great and frankly kind of amazing.
Go to 1580thefanatic.com to download.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Let's get right to it. Arizona State University. I was able to tune in and watch as ASU just about gave the game right back to Kansas State. Holy crap. When I turned on the TV, the offense for Kansas State was going through ASU like bleep through a Christmas goose. It was just like, whoa, they weren't stopping nothing. But what I did see was the brilliance of Dillingham's clock management. They knew what they had in that lead, and they knew how much time was on the clock, and they knew what they had to do, and they got it done. And then of course the defense did step back up again there towards the end of the game, but that was huge. And now today, the Arizona State University Sun Devils are ranked 21 on the AP top 25. Keon, that's no small thing, is it?
No, it really isn't. And by the way, with that victory, the Arizona State Sun Devils control their own destiny to play for a Big 12 championship.
I was still in third place in those standings, 5-2 in conference. But listen, when's Hate Week? Is this Hate Week already?
Not yet.
Okay,
week after.
Will you let me know? Because
week after this one. But this one, big game against BYU, because you beat BYU, you leapfrog them in the standings.
Yeah, I got to beat them Mormons.
And BYU just coming off of a loss themselves, which makes things a little bit.
Oh yeah, they plummeted down in the standings. So if we beat BYU, it's good for us, but it's not going to really elevate us because they just took a big old dump. They went 7 slices down in the AP top 25, man.
Yeah, as far as the rankings go, I don't think that that's going to help you a ton. But in terms of having a team in front of you where a little bit of their weaknesses get exposed even more, and you have something to go into that game to try and exploit, you win the Big 12 championship. I promise you'll be ranked somewhere really nice at the end of all of that.
Don't get me wrong. This is great. This is cool. Beating Kansas State, mwah, chef's kiss. But I just really want to see you, Arizona, suffer. I want to see another 77-7, or whatever, 70-7. I want to see another one of those because, they got cocky there the last couple of years, didn't they? They got cocky. They can't, it's like, hey, we had a rough time. We had a weird coach. Things weren't right. It took us a little while to climb back in and get things straightened out. Now things are looking good. So I can't wait to put the hurt on them bastards. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. And well, it can be done if you've seen the way that they've played for much of the year.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding at the beginning of the season when I said that's all I care about. We're 8-2. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Hey, we might go for a championship. Well, whatever. I just only care about what happens the week after next. That's it. That's all I care about. The rest of it, I'll be like, little golf clap. All right, that's great. I'll be excited, whatever happens. But man, I got one thing on my mind. One thing. And that's hate week. 888-368-1580. Devilhawk says, hey, good news. I hear Big 12 games are moving from ESPN Plus to TBS and TNT. And so you won't have to pay that $9 a month for ESPN Plus next year. Huh. Okay. That's cool. That's very cool. Dr. Roadmap says Betty White was hot. All right. No, you're not wrong. You're not. Don't come at me with younger Betty White either. Okay. If it's pre Golden Girls, just get away from me with that. What's wrong with you? Anyway, back to the ASU. Any notes on the game from your point of view? I mean, Avery Johnson, by the way, he's got the face of a 9-year-old, on a grown man body. And I know he's a good athlete and quarterback, but I was like, somebody get that child out of there.
Oh my God.
I was
legitimately
worried about him.
And then you look at the rest of him and you're like, oh, okay, I guess he's probably all right.
Man, any girl he'd like ask for a date in college, she'd be like, oh, I don't want to. You're going to have to go find like an elementary school teacher that is into that sort of thing. Cause that's nobody wants that. Nobody wants to try to, no grown college girl wants to make out with that face.
He's got a baby face.
People are like, I'm going to be arrested.
I don't know about that. In large part because he is a very large human being. Like, I don't think you could actually mistake him for a child.
His face, just the face. You got to kiss that face if you're, you know what I'm saying?
It's the face of a 6'2" person. You know what I mean? Like, it's clearly not a child.
Well, eventually your face has to be against that face. And then you'll be like, oh, would you like a yogurt? Would you like a Go-Gurt? Can I get you something out of the fridge? You want some Eggos? You want some Eggos? A little Nutella?
I somehow don't think that's going to be a problem for him. But I think that one of the things I was really impressed with in that game is how well ASU defended the run. I don't think I should be that impressed with it anymore. They've done it on a number of occasions. They've played a bunch of teams that were really, really good at running the football all year long, whether you talk about Oklahoma State or Utah or Kansas, and they made all of those teams look very bad. So I shouldn't be as impressed as I am with it, but running the football is Kansas State's bread and butter. They needed to do that to have a chance at winning the football game. And ASU just simply did not allow that to happen and really put a punctuation point on that. The other thing that I really was impressed by, Sam Levitt in 3rd and long situations. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation when it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. He had a 3rd and 10 throw that was just insane. Kind of reminded me of that Baker Mayfield throw where he's got a guy hanging off of him and he makes the throw anyway. Levitt had one like that. Similar. It was a very impressive play, but it was a very impressive play on a night where he was just playing very well and taking good care of the football and not turning it over. And then Cam Scadaboo is Cam Scadaboo. The guy's just the juggernaut. You give him the ball and it's like 4 yards.
Could not have come back at a better moment.
Yeah. And I know that was a game that he didn't want to miss because he didn't want to miss the week before either. You know, I mean, they showed the video of him on the sideline begging Kenny Dillingham to play the week before.
Right.
He wasn't even suited up. Yeah, like, what are you going to do?
Just go out like you are? All right.
Which he's a crazy enough person. He might actually do it if they let him. But that's the kind of guy that he is. And now that he's back, I think ASU just looks like a much better, they're the best version of themselves when he's out there.
Do we got the Mormons here or do we have to go to BYU? when we play them? I'm kind of curious about that.
I believe that game is here.
Cool. Scratch me. Oh, wait, where's Hate Week? Where's that?
That's in Tucson.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Scratch Me Because says it's almost better that way. You know what I mean? Scratch Me Because says I rewatched the K-State final interception multiple times, and I can't figure out who the quarterback was throwing to.
Yeah, Avery Johnson.
Who cares?
Really, really good runner. He's not the best passer of the football, and I think that one of the big game plans for ASU was, we're gonna make Avery Johnson beat us throwing the football, and his lack of accuracy at times showed up in that game at multiple points, including that one.
Yeah. I'm not worried about who he thought he was throwing to. Maybe he thought he was over by the sideline. Maybe he thought he was throwing it away. I don't know. Maybe he had a stroke. You look at him; he's very old. Weso Grande says ASU season so far has been as exciting as the intimate apparel section of the JCPenney catalog. You're correct. Bullseye says Betty White is still hot. She was cremated. Well, even then she'd cooled down by now. So she's not physically hot anymore. Not like that, not temperature. Big George. Okay. Golden Domer says Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Yeah. It's what it was invented for. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, just girls in bikinis, whatever.
What are you saying? If the JCPenney was doing it for you, I don't see why that wouldn't.
Oh, it was necessity.
Yeah.
And so that's what that, Bat Flipper says, my Niners suck. Too soon. We're going to get to that next hour, I promise. Pierre says something in French. Ringless Joe says, those Lions killed them Jags. I'm not ready for this yet. I still want to talk about another ASU thing. ASU handily beating St. Thomas 81-66. Not much to say about that, except for they just devastatingly own them. There's not even a write-up on it. That's just how bad it was. So,
yeah, look, you have to beat the teams in front of you. The ASU handle their business there, and compared to the start of the season where they were kind of struggling even against teams that weren't great, they're starting to figure out what they are a little bit, and that's pretty exciting.
So who are they? You say they're figuring out who they are. Are they a tournament team? Are they just sort of?
I think they've got the talent to be a tournament team like that. That's what they recruited. Like the players that they have out there, they've got Jaden Quaintance and oh God, what's his name? Sannon. Like I think that those guys are going to have to lead this team, and that's part of them figuring out as young players like what they can contribute if they can play really good defense like they have been doing, and then find those moments to pile on the points. They're going to be competitive in a lot of games, but we have to see, that when they start playing in Big 12 and conference play, that's when I think we'll have the best idea of how good this team is. But as far as them out there on the floor, what is our identity? What do we want to do? What do we want to try and impose our will on opponents with? I think that they're figuring that part of it out.
Slow Mo Zo says, did I win the tickets for yesterday's ASU game? Yeah, you did. But when I saw your name, I'm like, nah, not that guy. Gave him somebody else. Not really. If you can ask a dumb question like that, that's what you get. Let's see. Weso Grande. I think his gives me Weso Grande and Just the Tips are giving me thinky wheels here for some reason. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to read some of the text. If I haven't read your text, that's because our system is doing Netflix things right now. Mr. Pink Eye says Peggy from Married with Children, hottest sitcom mom. We're really not doing that. That's not what we're doing. ASU basketball, says Big George, got 2 votes in this week's AP poll. It's a start. We'll be ranked in no time. Any improvement's nice. That's all I'd want to look at there. It's funny. I wonder if the words Betty White is the reason why these texts won't open. Because Weso Grande is like, I believe Betty White stamp. That's it. And just a tip, Betty White's first woman Marine. That was it.
Huh.
Now here it is. I believe Betty White's stamp looks young, like Rosie the Riveter. Well, okay, that's disappointing. That is seriously, that's just disappointing. Just a tip says Betty White, first woman Marine, just not just hot. She was a badass. Dude, that's B. Arthur. You got the wrong Golden Girl.
Oh no!
But I'll save that for later. Ringless Joe says Josh Allen has finally overcome Patrick Mahomes. He got tired of being the Charles Barkley to his MJ. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens never overcame Mahomes. Now they're beginning to regress.
Got to do it in the playoffs. Josh Allen's beaten Patrick Mahomes before. Just never.
Yeah.
In the postseason.
Right. Where it matters.
Yeah. Where we remember that more. Where your season is over if you don't.
Bullseye says Betty White rocks my socks. Oh, hell yeah. Just the tip says, so you do read the texts. Are you new here? I know you've been gone for a while. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
At Diamond Dave's Desert Wholesale Diamonds,
we offer incredible diamonds, both mined and cultivated, all at amazingly low prices.
Check out these cultivated lab-grown diamond earrings.
2 carats total weight, collection color and lab-grown, only $25.90.
And she'd love this amazing tennis bracelet in natural mined.
4 carats total weight in yellow or white gold, only $39.90.
And how about this diamond chain in cultivated?
12.5 carats total weight, collection color and lab-grown, only $79.90.
And last but not least, especially this year, 1.5 carat floating diamond pendant.
Collection color and lab grown, only $9.90.
Call, email, or message us for an in-person appointment.
Or sit back and relax for free FedEx shipping anywhere in the USA.
Call Diamond Dave at 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow him on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family. So I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Kylan Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
My name is Mary Grace. Early diagnosis is key, but make no mistake, it is a devastating disease.
For more information, contact us at alz.org or through the 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. We broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And right here, I have every single game that happened yesterday. I think we can do this. We've gotten everything else out of the way now, so we won't get distracted. So all we're going to do is talk about the NFL games that happened on Sunday. That's it. Nothing else. That's what I say. Of course, you know, who knows what somebody else is going to have to say about anything. So I say we get started before it's too late. I say we get started. Packers versus the Bears. There's really nothing to talk about here. Is there anything? I mean, that's nothing to talk about.
I mean, it wasn't a particularly great game, but you did have an improved Caleb Williams performance. So if you're a Bears fan, you got to feel at least pretty decent about that, because there were people that were starting to doubt whether or not he
lost.
He lose, but like when you draft a rookie quarterback, you're not expecting to win a bunch of games that first year.
Don't be a child, Keon. That's all that anybody expects anymore. Win.
Okay, well, if you're a Bears fan and you expected that, you
shouldn't be as a Bears
fan.
fan.
I mean, like this is, you got to be realistic about where your team is. Like the Bears were not good before the year started. The Bears are still not good, but you want to see Caleb Williams improve. You want to see him continue to get better, to kind of get a better understanding of what the NFL game is like, what stuff he can and can't do, because he could do everything in college. Well, you can't do that in the NFL. These guys are faster and stronger and smarter. And he's starting to get a better handle on that. And against a good Packers defense, I thought there's a bright spot for them.
Well, of course, Green Bay, they had to block a field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
And
they also needed a 70-yard Jordan Love drive to even have the lead.
Yeah.
So a couple of things had to go their way there.
Just still surprising that Green Bay is 7-3. That is the part that always just kind of catches me off guard.
I don't find it that surprising. I think that, the Jordan Love experience is not as steady as it was last year. Like Jordan Love was really solid from game to game last year. Now he's got his highs and his lows, and it's kind of all over the place. But he's never so bad that he plays them out of most games. And they do have a really good roster. Like their defense is pretty good. I think Matt LaFleur is a really good coach. They've got a lot of things going for them that, I don't know that it's that surprising that they are 7-3.
I'm just double checking real fast before I say anything else. But Doug Peterson didn't get fired yet, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, he said, he's like, oh, I don't have any appointment with Shad Khan there. I think we're fine. So I guess maybe he doesn't fire people on Mondays. I don't know.
Maybe he just waits until the year is over because he's a little too patient.
Tell you what, 52-6. After the season that the Jaguars have had up to this moment, I do not know how Doug Peterson is still walking around the Jaguars facility with a key card.
I mean, I think part of it is who firing him does what exactly for you right now.
Well, I'm just saying you got to get situated. Everybody else is going to start firing their guys. You got to be all ready for whoever is next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
and I'm sure they are. Like, I'm sure that is a conversation that's happening above Doug Peterson's pay grade. What do we do about Doug Peterson and start getting those ducks in a row? I'm certain.
Do what everybody else is doing. That grab your special teams coordinator and say, "Hey, you're coach."
Black Monday at the end of the season, Doug Peterson will not be employed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't, and you're on your backup quarterback. Your team has clearly given up on you. What do you have to gain by doing that?
Yeah, that 52-6, and you're like, did you really need to do that? Did you? I mean, I guess that's fine. I don't know. Part of me likes the killer instinct where the Lions are like, everybody made fun of us when we were little and ugly, and now we're gonna no mercy.
Yeah, and look, it pumps the team up. Everybody feels great about things. Like it keeps that locker room fired up because now everybody's like, wait, no matter who we play, we're all going to get involved. And of course, Ben Johnson, I'm sure, had about 4 plays for the Jaguars specifically that aren't going to be able to work in any other situation. So he's like, yeah, I'm using my plays. There's no point in keeping him.
No, the Lions, they have become bullies, but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind it so much considering where they've been, but after a while, you're gonna like, hey, calm down there, pal. Hey, maybe calm down there a little bit. Why do you feel like you need to keep? You're beating a dead body. You know, they just why? Well, I mean, hey, we killed the guy. All right, good for you. And then we drug him through the town. We tied some rope to him, and we drove around. And then we took his body, and then we chucked it up there and up on top of the gate. And then we threw it off the gate, and his head came off. Then we played soccer with the head, and then we put it on a spit.
That game was over at halftime, and there was no reason for them to continue just obliterating them like
like,
that.
why are you doing that to Doug Peterson? Wow, that's basically what they did to Doug Peterson's carcass. And it's like, okay. And they're like, whoa, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? And now none of the offensive starters got hurt. He left everybody in. My fantasy football, thanks you.
Yes, mine too.
But as far as football goes, not probably the brightest move
Yeah.
to leave all your starters in to
Didn't
the
you
end of a 52-6 beatdown. You lost Alex Anzalone 6 to 8 weeks, broken forearm. I don't think that was in the first half, though.
Yeah,
Towards the end of the first half, but even then, you didn't need to take him off the field. But that should have given you the little light bulb, maybe we stay out.
That's just not how they do it in Detroit. I mean, you'd think of all the teams to have learned this lesson, they would have learned this lesson. Aiden Hutchinson was out on the field late in that Cowboys game that they were just blowing Dallas out. That he shouldn't have been playing. None of the starters should have been playing, but that's not how they do it in Detroit. When they flatten you, they go to flatten you, and they are willing to risk the injuries, apparently.
I love Dan Campbell. Sometimes, though, I don't even know if he's paying attention, or sometimes, like, part of him is a little dumb. And he's like, we're getting this criticism for keeping the starters in and a blowout game. He's like, it's a good problem to have. What? No, it's not. Great that you're blowing out the team. Not great that you're leaving your starters in there because you guys are the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl for the first time in your franchise history. If you hurt anybody right now,
that's going to be a problem.
Right. So, I mean, okay.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, it's like,
I
think that's crazy, but also it was Dan Campbell being crazy that got them here. Like I at some point, you just kind of have to let the guy be.
But last year, he 10-cupped it during that game where he kept going for two, kept going for two. He kept getting second chances, and you're like, dude, kick the goddamn ball. And then he didn't get it, and they lost the damn game. And he's like, player got to play. Like,
that's the thing is he's going to get you to a certain point, but is his stubbornness going to stop them from getting further? I don't know, but you do have to let Dan Campbell be Dan Campbell because you wouldn't be the betting favorite of anything if you didn't have him.
But if it's anybody on the staff, it's like, hey, coach, shut up. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's just
somebody's got to try to say something.
Look, that's their culture, man. Like we are going all out from start to finish, and we're not gonna worry about anything. We're not gonna worry about injuries or any positive or negative thing. We're going to play our brand of football. And if that means that, we're blowing a team out and we should probably bench our starters, that's not what we do here.
Are the Jaguars a team of fascist Nazis?
I'm sorry, what?
That's what I said. Devil Hawk says when you're beating up a team of fascist Nazis, I think it's okay if you beat them to a pulp. Thanks, Lions. The Jaguars, they're in my division, I think. I don't think
who?
There are fascist Nazis.
If there is one
Doug
on the
Peterson?
roster, there's one on the roster. Because you're saying full of who? Which Jaguars qualify as that? I'm just a genuine question. I don't know. I've never heard this about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Like I said, since they're in my division, I'd love to hear that. That'll give me some reason to root against them even more. Niner Annapolis says, I know how the Jaguars felt because in my league of record, I was playing a bottom dweller in fantasy football who had Jared Goff, Jameson Williams, and St. Brown, and he changed his fantasy team to Jared Goff in the middle of our matchup. You can't change in the middle of a matchup. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it locks the player once.
What kind of league are you in where you can change stuff? In our league.
Or
English
any
Joe.
league I've ever been in.
English Joe says Dan Campbell's aggressiveness wins games. Eberflus' defensiveness loses games. Campbell would have gone for the touchdown instead of the field goal in yesterday's Bear game. Yeah, I know. You're right. You're right. Niner Annapolis says changed his team name. Oh, he changed the name of his team to Jared Goat. Oh, I see. Insult to injury. Quiet Cannon says, how many fantasy football points did the Detroit Lions quarterback get this weekend? About 55. Can I tell you something right now? I'm a little bit aggravated. Do you remember?
I do remember. I
that
know exactly what you're about to say.
With the fantasy football king. First thing I asked him is like, hey, I kind of like the matchup for Jared Goff this weekend. Are you sure this is maybe not a situation where maybe I go ahead and play him instead of Jalen Hurts? Oh, he gave me no ration of bleep. Jalen Hurts, 20.95 points. Jared Goff, 54.7. Oh, and I also said, hey, he came in before I even told him I had Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Whatever you're going to do with Marquez Valdez-Scantling, don't do it. I'm like, yeah, but I did that. He's like, oh, and he calls me an idiot or something. And I was like, well, I mean, it's either him or Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman, 5 points. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 18.7. Guess what else? I'm going to lose to Thundar the San Barbarian.
Oh, I thought you were up.
I am up by 25, but that is not enough when he's got Joe Mixon, Turd Ferguson, and the Texans defense.
No.
I will not survive this. I would have if I just followed my gut.
Yeah, and I also think you have to take into account the advice, the personality of the person giving you the advice, and
you wanted me to fail.
What I've gotten from the Fantasy Football King is that his preference is for having a higher floor, so that if you fail pretty high, then swinging for a higher ceiling. You're going for but I could hit even bigger. There are people who appreciate that more. So when I ask him for advice, I kind of take that with that grain of salt that like he's going
always
for
trust your gut.
What's the safer play? And
he very well, just roll the dice. Could have been right. Could have been right. Yeah. Maybe Jalen Hurts has an even bigger game. Whatever. Could have been right. I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm not saying I wouldn't trust his judgment. I'm just saying his judgment has kicked me in the nuts more than a few times this season.
His judgment is based on what he
following my gut from now on
what he values, and you do not value the same things.
I value winning. There's I'm swear to God,
you value
3 games I've lost this season that if I'd done what I was going to do and not listen to him, I would have won. And then where would I be in the standings?
I
don't blame him. I'm just saying
you're valuing the bigger potential of scoring more. Which when your team is like injured like yours is, like maybe you just need that a little bit more to give you an edge that you normally would have, but you don't have with the injuries.
Got to roll the dice if I'm going to win. I mean,
he values the safe play. That's his thing.
He also plays in multiple leagues, so he doesn't mind it. He loses
because for him, in his mind, it all averages out. Right.
So I'm not saying
he's
he didn't
playing
have
the
numbers
averages.
right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying it worked out for me. 888-368-1580. Scratch me because says I'm confused. Are there non-fascist Nazis? It kind of seems like
that seems a little redundant. Yeah.
Still don't have an answer on
on which Jaguars that even applies to, if any. You can't just swing that accusation around, Devil Hawk. That requires you have receipts. You need proof.
Just a Tip says Bears, Giants, Cowboys. Who needs a quarterback more? Well, not the Bears, but the Giants and Cowboys. Between the Giants and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean,
Giants primarily, but both.
I mean, the Cowboys need their guy back healthy. That's not happening, and the Giants just need to start over.
Raven Kid says, I got CJ Stroud tonight. I'm down 18.45 points in Blender League 1. Do I have a chance? His team is already done. So you need to get 18.45 points to win, and you got CJ Stroud.
Maybe. You got Nico Collins coming back, so there's your big weapon there for the Texans. You're going up against the Cowboys defense that just quite frankly is not good. Yeah, you got a chance.
What is CJ Stroud? I've not even looked at his numbers.
He's been inconsistent this whole year.
Wait, what are you talking about? You played Brock Purdy. No, wait, that's random texter. Hold on. I'm bringing up your team right now here. Let's see. Where are you on there? There he is, Raven Kid. CJ Stroud. He wasn't lying. Wow. See, yeah, that's tough. So you're playing against Dallas, and looking at how CJ Stroud has been doing lately, he has not popped 20 since week 6. He was doing pretty good there for a second, but lately, like last week, 14 points. The week before, 13.5. The week before, 17.5. The week before that, 6. Dallas, how is their defense right now?
Very bad.
So you should be able to get this.
Yeah, I mean, and the Cowboys are missing a couple of corners. I know Jordan Lewis and Deron Bland are going to be out for Dallas as well. So you have Nico Collins coming back for the Texans. I think that's really big because you said since about week 6 he hasn't been doing so great. If you look at the numbers for the Texans, it's really interesting because they were averaging 376 yards a game when they had Nico Collins, and then Nico Collins left, and they didn't even crack 300. So that's a big swing there. I think that the Texans getting Nico back opens up a lot of things for them offensively. Probably a good sign for CJ Stroud.
Yeah, you should be fine, but hey, you never know. You never know. Let's see. Lost Toby says, I hope Kyle Shanahan gets bubonic plague.
Wow.
Okay.
What? Why? Of all the ways to kill him, that's the plague.
Oh, Devilhawk says Bosa is on the Jaguars. He's a racist bastard. But Bosa's not on the Jaguars.
No, he's not.
There's a Bosa on the Chargers. There's a Bosa on the 49ers.
Joey Bosa is a Charger. Nick Bosa is a Niner.
Which one's the bad one?
Nick.
Oh, yeah. Devilhawk, you got to get your Bosa straight.
You're just wrong.
Just the Tip says, Shedeur and Prime to New York? Well, more likely the Cowboys, because Prime has already said he's going to try to direct his son where his son should and wants to go. Now, stop on that. Prime has said he's not going anywhere. He ain't going anywhere. So, yeah, I mean, Shedeur, probably Cowboys before the Giants. I don't think Shedeur would want his boy going to the Giants.
Yeah, I don't think Dion would want that either. I mean, Dion, but I don't know. I don't know how involved Dion wants to be in all of this. I think
he's going to be very involved.
Yeah, I think part of him wants to stay out of it, but I don't know if his ego will actually let that happen. So we'll see.
Aiton's Army says, if the metal panel falling from the roof of the Cowboys Stadium during pregame warmups is not a bad omen, signaling a Dallas beatdown, then I don't know what is. Did that just happen? Something fall off the roof? What are you talking about? Hefty Lefty says, can the Broncos flex their schedule to just keep playing the NFC South the rest of the year? That'd be cool. Scratch from Because says, I understand now. The Jaguars only scored 2 field goals, so they did not see the end zone. Not see. Oh, that's a stretch.
It's a stretch, but I guess that you're doing it. Yeah, no, metal fell from the roof at Cowboys Stadium. So report from 43 minutes ago, Cowboys opening AT&T Stadium roof during Monday Night Football for the first time in 2 years. Update from 38 minutes ago, metal falls from AT&T Stadium roof before Dallas Cowboys game. So it's been so long since they've opened the roof.
Jerry Jones like, woo, and you guys worried about the goddamn curtains? Wow, how about this one? Woo!
Just a giant flap of metal just
That just sounds like the Dallas Cowboys right now.
Mm.
Ringless Joe says the Jaguars are just the most irrelevant NFL team. The NFL equivalent of the Nets. Yeah, I can accept that. CK says, why is Nick the bad one? Because he's conservative? He's not a dirty player. Doesn't get in trouble off the field.
He's said some racist things in the past.
Yeah, it's not about his politics
and his girlfriend.
It's about his racistness.
So that's why I call him the bad Bosa. But you can do with that what you will. Also, someone says that there appears to be yet another sheet of metal loose at the top of Cowboy Stadium.
So they're opening the thing, and things are like, and then did that piece of how big is this metal?
Oh, it's huge. It looks like it looks to be maybe the length of a car.
Was anyone hurt?
Nobody was hurt. Thankfully.
Wow, that's a miracle that they should probably
because it landed where like Dallas Cowboys employees were working, just that it didn't land on any of them.
Yeah, you better clear the field. That is not a good thing. I wonder if there's gonna be a delay for this game. Just the Tip says, yeah, when did Jarrah ever make a good decision? And number 2 and prime to the Giants. Well, see, here's the thing. Deion Sanders has already said if his son is the number 1 pick, he's going to call up certain teams and say, don't do it because he's not going to play for you. So I would imagine that no matter what happens, Deion Sanders is going to think my son could fix the Cowboys. And I worked for Jerry Jones. My boy can work for Jerry Jones. He probably is like, that is okay. But he's looking at nobody's looking at the Giants going, hey, I want to go work there.
I'm excited about this opportunity to go to a city that scrutinizes every little thing I do and play for a team that seems to have no clue what they're doing.
Ringless Joe says Jake Paul has more wins in the Cowboys Stadium right now than the Cowboys do this year.
That is true.
It is an absolute true statement. Swazman says, how the hell did Baltimore lose? Oh, that went thinky wheel on me. But that's enough of the question. Yeah. How the hell did Baltimore lose? Let's talk about that and other things when we come back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Hear that? The sound of adorable little birds in your garden. And if you were here, you'd taste the 2 sweet but tiny tomatoes you grew all by yourself. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens when you're riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive on your way to the store for a pack of normal-sized tomatoes. So if you ride, switch to Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer, without getting your hands dirty. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. It's not available in all states.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display. Plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more. All at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hidden Loop. That's United Forte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down. Now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now the 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird, and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's KASAI Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Monday night means football on the Fanatic.
It's a battle for Texas when Houston travels to Dallas to take on Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, and Joe Mixon lead the Texans under the star of Texas for a battle royale to see who's king of the big state. Texans at Cowboys, Monday night at 5:30.
You're home for live NFL action, the playoffs, and Super Bowl 59. 1580 The Fanatic.
Holy moly. So David Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic, and I just got a picture and video of that piece of metal that fell from the top of AT&T Stadium. That is huge. That's about 15 feet long and looks like about 5, maybe 6 feet wide. And here's the thing about it. They show it. It looks like it's in front of like some field level luxury suites. And then you look right next to it and it's like it fell right next to the Gatorade, which means if that had fallen during the game, people would be dead. I mean, that the fact it didn't hit anybody is just a miracle. Nobody was injured, but that I can't see how thick is it. I mean, that thing looks like, oh, okay, hold on. No, wait. Now I'm looking at it from another angle. It's not that thick. Okay.
Yeah, it's not thick. It's just
but
wide and
could have still killed somebody. Yeah. It's a piece of sheet metal. And
it fell from the roof of a stadium.
Could have sliced you in half there.
Very easily.
But is it wedged into the turf right there?
I think that's what it is.
Because it feel like it should have fallen over. You know?
Yeah, I think it landed so hard it just stuck into the turf. So, people can make fun of FedEx Field and all the things that have happened at FedEx Field, but I'll have one thing on the Cowboys.
Well, okay,
literally one.
Sheet metal falling can kill you. Sewage coming out of a pipe, it's not great.
It's not great, but you will not instantly die.
Not instantly,
because they said there were more pieces of metal loose on the roof. It wasn't just the one piece.
Ringless Joe says, Jeffrey, shouldn't you be rooting for them Cowboys to win? You're only a game behind them. I'm not playing that game. I'm not looking for my Colts to go to the playoffs, Ringless Joe. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I understand what you're saying with the Texans and all that. I'm just saying. 888-368-1580. Just a tip. Me too. Devilhawk says that piece of metal is about the same size as my penis. Flat and curved and sad. I mean,
why? Yeah. Why would you want it to be anything like that?
Let's see here. Buffalo Mike says Bo Nix is now the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Who saw that coming?
Yeah, which I think is kind of insane. But
yeah,
all right,
didn't see that coming.
I don't know. I don't think that he should win that just yet. When you talk about the whole season from start to where we are right now, Bo Nix has not been the best offensive starter.
Hefty Lefty says that sheet metal is one of the eyes of the stadium falling out after watching the fight. Air quotes. Jake Paul, says Hamilton Border, has put up the best performance in that stadium this year. It's not true. There's some other teams that came in there and played.
Yeah, I mean,
and most of those contests were real.
Detroit had a really good performance in that stadium too.
That's right.
Wouldn't call it a home game, but
that's right. So let's talk about where we are here in talking about all the NFL games that happened this weekend. We're not making exactly good time, but okay. Dolphins keep their playoff hopes alive at 34-19, beating the Raiders. You do what you got to do, and the Raiders. I feel like there's going to be some changes there too. I feel bad for Antonio Pierce. I had so much hope for him, but I don't see him keeping his job.
I don't feel bad for him, but I did have hope for him.
Yeah,
it's just I don't feel bad for him because a lot of what has lost this team, the confidence in him, he's been a part of it.
Yeah.
He hasn't been a passive, standby guy. He's been involved in some of the dumb things that this team has done, including like maybe getting a little too hasty and firing your entire offensive staff in the middle of the season. the people you're now
Forgot
replacing
about
them
that.
with aren't going to do better like that. You can't do stuff like that. This isn't college. There's going to have to be some reshuffling of what's going on. I thought the Raiders were aware of what season they were going to have this year when they opted not to try and force the issue and take a quarterback in the draft. You were waiting for next year. Cool. Go ahead and build the foundation of your program. Go ahead and build the culture that you want your team to play with. If you want guys to play intelligently, then there's a way you coach that. If you want guys to play, especially on the defensive side of the ball, physically, violently, arrive at the football with bad intentions, there are ways you can coach a team so that when you get the personnel you want to, when you get good players, now they're already on the same page. Everybody in the building understands that this is what is expected of me. Antonio Pierce didn't do any of that.
So Dolphins are like, ooh, our playoff hopes are alive. No, they're not. No, they're not. I'm just talking to you honestly.
I mean, I know they're not, but mathematically they are. And if you're a team like the Dolphins where you're not rebuilding, you're built. You had a bad year, you had your quarterback go down for a significant amount of time, but your team's built.
Yeah,
you've
win
just got to
some
try
games and make sure you save the job of your weird coach. I mean, they're not going to fire him, but just this won't hurt. And just think about next year. Yeah, because that's it.
Yeah, thing is, guys are putting their bodies on the line for football. They're not. You can't do that for next year. You can't be a guy that's like, yeah, I know that I could play this game, and then my femur will be shattered by the end of it. I'm playing for next year. Like, no, you got to play for this year because
play for your contracts. But the rest of you just take it easy. Matt Stafford, he's playing for real. It was just against the Patriots. Well, I thought the Patriots had a better defense than that. But Matt Stafford threw for 4 touchdowns and beat the Patriots 28-22.
The Patriots do have a very good defense. Matt Stafford is ridiculous. That's what's happening. And when
this week he's ridiculous, another week he's not.
Yeah,
so
but that's been the story of Matt Stafford's whole career. When Matt Stafford is hot, there isn't a better quarterback in football. And when he's ice cold, he might be bottom 5. But when he's got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua out there, he's more likely to be good Matt Stafford.
Who is Drake May?
Rookie quarterback.
No, I know that. But who is he?
Because
there was like, oh, Drake looked real good. And this time around, he comes around, he's like 30 or 40. Oh, yeah, that's not bad. 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oh, yeah, okay. And then an interception and a fumble. It's like, so who is this guy? Is he good? Is he getting better? Is he getting worse? I can't get a bead on Drake May.
I mean, first off, I think the Rams defense is just playing leagues better than they were at the start of the year. Like they're a very young defense. They've been getting better week by week. But no, Drake May's good. Like I think he's got his ups and downs too. He's not consistent over the course of a whole game, but he clearly, as a rookie, understands what he's supposed to be doing. I think they've made the offense simple enough for him to be able to navigate that and make quick decisions and throw the football. But he's also just a big guy. And I think that sometimes those players hang onto the football a little bit longer because they know that they can take a hit or two. And maybe he holds onto the ball a little bit too long. And that definitely leads to the fumble stuff. Like he's just got to be better about ball security. But he's mobile enough. I mean, he goes to run. It looks like when you watch Baker, it's just like, here's this solid block of a human being running at you. He's going to hit you and get at least 2 more yards after that. I like a lot of things about Drake May. I think he's really good.
Well, their record isn't, but okay.
Yeah, but the team's not.
Yeah,
that's why they drafted him. you picked 3rd.
So the Rams put a W on the list, and it ain't gonna matter. But
I mean, it's going to matter a little. The NFC West is not good, and therefore they're in it. They're in the race.
I always feel bad saying that when Randy's around.
It's not
garbage.
It's not fun to hear, but the fact
just
is,
like my division too. My little division's garbage too. AFC South.
It's not great.
Oh.
They're a handful.
Which one's worse, the AFC South or the NFC West?
I think the AFC South is worse.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the Jags are
pulling
messed
up the bell curve.
Yeah. They're pulling that average to the basement.
Aiton's Army says that sheet metal falling and potentially hitting someone reminds me of the movie Final Destination. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Starring Dak Prescott, because that is his final destination. I don't think anybody's going to want Dak Prescott now. Hefty Lefty says the Motor City Kitties won the battle of the Jungle Cats in resounding fashion. Yes, they did. Just the Tip says, what's more important, a good GM or a coach? I don't know, man. Stop trying to distract us. I'm trying to get all these games talked about. Come at me tomorrow with those questions. We have more time to actually consider that. I'm going to say GM. I'll just say GM right now. I don't know. What do you say?
I think the GM is the most important. The GM usually in most setups hires the coach. You have a bad GM, he's hiring a bad coach, and he's probably signing bad players.
So listen up, pal. Save them kind of distracting questions for tomorrow, because we're trying to get through something here. Big George says zero sympathy for Antonio Pierce. He was the linchpin of the ASU recruiting violations under Herm Edwards. He cost us a scholarship and a bowl ban. He can rot in hell. I don't know. People make mistakes. I feel like rotten hell is a bit.
It's a bit strong.
Swave Dave says, well, I never look forward to watching a Cowboys game on Thanksgiving. I'm definitely skipping that bleep show. However, I'm looking forward to watching my Lions play on Thanksgiving, because I don't believe they won on Thanksgiving in quite a few years. And although they are on the uptick. All right, well, I mean, they should be fine. Let's just leave that at that. And then who is this earlier? Did I say that about the Colts? Did I read that text about the Colts? Somebody was asking me about the Colts. No, just a tip. I didn't say you have to leave. He says, I'll listen tomorrow. Dude, just hang around. We're going to talk about stuff.
We're just talking about the games. We can't.
You're giving me like show prep here. Yeah, what's more important, the GM or the coach? Oh, crap. Here comes the conversation.
Yeah, that's a really good conversation. We just don't have.
You haven't been around a while. So here's what happens. We try to talk about every single game that happened on Sunday, and we very rarely make it through because we get distracted. So I'm just waving you off of distractions. Doesn't mean you can't listen. Ringless Joe says the Thanksgiving game is a traumatic experience. I haven't enjoyed turkey for like 7 years. He says, by the way, Jeffrey, how much are those Colts losing by next week? I need a spread. You know what? Kiss my ass and go buy some margarine if you need a spread. I'm not gonna play this game. Listen, go ahead and get cocky about my Colts. See where that gets you. I feel like we've beaten the Lions before when the Lions showed up cocky. I have a memory of that somewhere in my head. I think was it the Bruins?
I don't know.
I have to go back and look. Anyways, we got to move on to the next game. The Saints, Taysom Hill, beat the Browns. Good job, boys. Good job.
Yeah,
Ferda women. All right.
Taysom Hill for my bench.
Oh, see, you had Taysom Hill. I love Taysom Hill, but he's just so hit and miss.
Yeah.
How many? 45?
45, yeah.
Man, I am going to go back and see if my bench would have beaten my opponent.
My guess is probably yes.
Yeah. Well, that's life. There's bigger things. Anyway, so Derek Carr, whatever. Is there anything you want to say about the Saints game? Saints and the Browns, 35-14? Taysom Hill was fun. He's always fun.
Lots of fun, and so is Jameis.
Jameis almost had 400 yards.
Yeah, they didn't score.
Did he have any interceptions?
Really. No.
Oh, look at him go!
Yeah,
and they still lost.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a bad football team, but if you need a backup fantasy quarterback in a pinch, I'm starting to think you could do worse than Jameis Winston.
Look at Sky Rizzi now getting 2 wins after he took over for Dennis Allen. I mean, it helped you're playing the Browns.
Yeah, that's a contributing factor, but still.
Yeah, it's nice.
Win's a win.
Steelers are now in control of the AFC North, and they have beaten the Ravens. This is something that Raven Kid just could not wrap his head around.
Which I'm trying to understand why you can't understand this. The Steelers are good.
Yeah, the Steelers are good.
they have potentially the best defense in football.
Yeah, now they're 4-0 with Russell Wilson, and he threw an interception. But he's playing mostly like old Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah, for the most part. And I mean, he's limiting the mistakes. He had the interception, but he didn't have any other really horrific throws where you go, what are you doing, man? Which we had more than a few of those when he was a Denver Bronco. And then they ran the ball really well, which is something that we haven't necessarily seen from the Steelers. And then the defense shows up like it shows up every week. They have, I think the 8th ranked defense in the league when it comes to opponent points per game. They give up the second fewest amount of points in the league. When teams have to run the football against them, they're a top 5 defense against the run. They just, every stat that you look at defensively for them, they're top 10, top 5 in the league. They are an incredible defense, and they don't need that offense to be great every week. They just need it to be good.
Let me just tell you, the Ravens had their own pile of problems. The Ravens had 3 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
They tons of penalties. And, they were in their own way quite a bit. What was the deal with Lamar Jackson?
He just had an awful game.
Yeah, he was not him.
Yeah, and you get to have off games. He hasn't had very many this year. Even the games that they lost this year, you can't put that on him. This one, you kind of can.
I know we're late for a break. Let me read this real fast. Raven Kid says the Steelers are good. My team is supposed to be great. We kick our own ass every time we have to go to an acupuncture stadium. I'm just disappointed how we can look so good some weeks and so bad other weeks.
I don't think
Ravens, that's just been the Ravens, man.
Yeah, but like this year, I don't think you could say that the Ravens are great. They weren't supposed to be great. Look at this defense. And this was a defense that played really well on Sunday, but like this hasn't been like last year's Ravens team was a better team than this team. Regular season. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's just there's something missing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, I don't want to say coaching because I thought Harbaugh was supposed to be real good. There's something missing or something off. I can't quite put my finger on it, which keeps the Ravens from elevating.
Well,
I don't know.
If you're going to have bad games, the game where you turn the ball over a bunch of times, that's going to be a killer. And that some of the turnovers were like goofy. They were hilarious looking. Just what are you guys attempting to accomplish here? And then, when you look at the games that the Ravens have lost this year as well, the penalties have been huge. When they lost to the Chiefs, there's a lot of penalties. When they lost to the Raiders, there was a lot of penalties. And in this game, there was a ton of penalties as well.
All right, listen, we are halfway through the games we need to talk about. So we just might make it if we concentrate. But I'll get to all your texts best I can. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Direct savings and client focus, the cornerstones of the Diamond Dave philosophy.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave Cantor. My team and I at Desert Wholesale Diamond can be your trusted friends with an inside scoop on the diamond world.
Just like they are to thousands of people around the world.
And just like we have been for over 34 years.
At Diamond Dave's, it's all about the diamonds and the savings, not paying for high-end retail locations or the overhead of a mall.
You stand to save big time with our by appointment professional office approach combined with direct importing.
When you choose Diamond Dave's, you choose huge savings, top quality, and excellent service. Call, email, or message us for an in-person appointment.
Or sit back and relax for free FedEx shipping anywhere in the USA.
Call Diamond Dave at 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow him on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
When life gets overwhelming, but you just don't feel like talking, help is only a text away. Trained and caring crisis specialists are available by text 24/7 to assist with suicidal thoughts, substance use issues, depression, anxiety, and more. You are never alone. When you need help, please text HOPE to 4HOPE. From anywhere in Arizona, text the word HOPE to 44673. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
Never again will you have to say, I missed that segment. I'm such a dinkus. He's so lame. Never miss an important segment, favorite host, or show again. Check out our podcast and listen whenever and wherever you want.
It's the reason Al Gore invented the internet.
Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or at 1580thefanatic.com.
Today, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Raven Kent says we are definitely feeling no Mike McDonald. And in regards to Harbaugh, the entire fan base is basically split. Well, I could see that. I mean, Keon will give you the Washington Commandos view of like, hey, if we could get to the playoffs every year, oh, we think that's great. And then you look over here from other people's perspective, it's like, if you can't get past a certain point, if you can't get past a certain level, then you got to start thinking, what is stopping us from getting to that next level? Is it Lamar Jackson himself? Is it other personnel? Is it coaching? Is it this? Is it that? So you got to start looking at everything. When you've got a team that has been good enough, but just can't quite get there, I'd say 4 years, 5 years, Keon?
Yeah, though I think that it's how do you put that success up against the I don't think you can judge it in a vacuum is what I'm trying to say. Like, the Chiefs are involved in this. It's not just the Ravens that can't seem to get it done. You run into Kansas City and you lose like that. And it's not just Baltimore. Buffalo's experienced this. Houston last year had their upstart season and they experienced this. You got to figure out Kansas City. Now, if you don't believe that Harbaugh can do that, then that's an answer to your question right there. But it's not like the Ravens have just gone into the playoffs and every single year they've never looked good. They've won playoff games. They were in the AFC title game last year, and they made a handful of crucial mistakes in that game that cost them an opportunity to beat the Chiefs. And you can't make too many mistakes against the Chiefs. So, like, whose fault is that? And kind of sorting that through while you're working through this season to make sure that when you get your next opportunity, can you figure it out? But yeah, I do think that time's going to be up on Harbaugh eventually, which kind of sucks because I think the guy's a great coach. And if you fire him, he will be immediately hired somewhere else. And I hope you have an answer for what do we do after Harbaugh?
Well, his immediate success could come from, getting on a team with a personnel set that is better for what he's looking to do.
But
the
Ravens,
his disaster could come from a different angle.
Yeah, probably. But it's not like he's been, like Harbaugh in Baltimore has been this guy that can just never figure out how to put a team together, or they limp through regular seasons and then get to the playoffs. Like, no, they've been pretty dominant throughout regular seasons. The postseason is where they have to make these decisions. I wouldn't make this decision based on, a week 12 matchup against the Steelers.
Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
But Kid's not saying that. Yeah. But I'm just saying the fan base is sitting there watching and going, it is long enough. What's going on here? And they're split on this.
Yeah.
Just the same conversation you and I are having.
It's just every time we do this with coaches and quarterbacks, I just always have to make sure that people know the next guy has to be great. You don't get to be wrong about firing a coach like that.
Yeah. Slow-Mo Zoe says Josh Allen's touchdown run in the fourth was nice, but he was holding that ball like he didn't want it. Dude, we're not Did we talk about that game yet?
I don't think we did.
We
no.
haven't talked about that game yet, Slow-Mo Zoe. Don't get ahead of us. Ringless Joe says the last Lions-Colts match, we actually won by 1 point. That was in 2022. So we've beaten you every time since then. Sweet. Devil Hawk says, hey, O'Brien, your Colts don't suck that bad. I am not going to talk cocky. My Giants stink to high heaven. Oh, you're a Giants fan? No wonder you're cranky.
I'm so sorry.
Lost Toby says Marquez Valdez-Scantling, talented receiver who long struggled with poor quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, finally getting unleashed with an elite passer, Derek Carr. Wow.
Yeah, he's finally ditched the bums. Good for him.
There's a lot of lying in that. Slow-Mo Zoe says Tucker missing 2 field goals. How about that? Yeah, that wasn't expected.
Not helping. Yeah, he might be reaching that point in his career.
Against the spread says being a Bears fan is pure freaking misery. Even the Bears suicide hotline is busy. There is nothing this organization can't screw up. It's a stench that comes from the top down. They're running Caleb Williams. He's being used up with no support, just like Fields. The dude is the worst performing rookie quarterback and already has PTSD. He probably needs a little battle buddy to take a dump because he thinks a linebacker is going to hit him on his way to the toilet. Bears also blew their once-in-a-lifetime generational opportunity to hire Harbaugh, who would have been perfect fit in Chicago. Jim Harbaugh. This team makes me sick. They could screw up a 2-car parade and a wet dream simultaneously. Oh, man. No, that all tracks.
Tell us how you really feel.
Devil Hawk says Raven fans are spoiled brats. Must be nice to make it to the AFC Championship game every other year.
Yeah, and then think about firing your coach the year after while you are 7-4 in a tough division. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you have to just be happy to get there, but I don't understand how any of those thoughts are crossing your mind right now. But just now, if you fall apart in the playoffs, have a conversation. But now, how's that even coming up?
Mr. Pink Eye says GM or coach more important? Owner willing to spend more important. Not necessarily true.
Not necessarily, because if you have a GM and the GM is working with the cheap owner and he's aware of what the owner is, there are still things that you can do to maximize a team. And we've seen GMs work with cheap owners before. And because of the salary cap, like cheapness is not really the issue in the NFL. The owners who are meddling in what you're trying to do and trying to tell you who to draft and who to sign and who to release, those guys do a whole lot more damage than guys who are cheap.
Random Texter says Tucker's issue has nothing to do with him kicking. It's a placeholder. It is a new guy this year.
Well, they need to get that sorted because it's cost them a couple of games.
New texter on the text line says, I'm so tired of Bears fans complaining. Imagine being a Browns fan. Yeah, well, your team's getting the karma your team deserves. You get no sympathy.
Maybe not some of your fans. But
yeah,
that ownership group,
own it.
That's what they've got.
Nah, fans get it too. You're a fan of some skeevy bastards, some low life, no no morals, just yuck. Your team is I would have abandoned the team. If all that stuff happened, like they brought in Deshaun Watson and they allowed for Kareem Hunt, if they allowed for all these different things, and then they snakily, just grossly created a contract to protect a rapist's money from the NFL, I would have just stopped being a Colts fan. I would have walked away. So no, sorry, I'm not going to. I'm not. He says, imagine being a female Browns fan. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Just, no one should hate themselves that much.
You've got a free and open door to leave the Browns. My God. So I feel for you.
Because if you're a Browns fan and then you jump on board another team and someone goes, weren't you a Browns fan? All you have to say is Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should all understand.
No, that is one organization not even going to just even give you a cross-eyed look if you decide to walk off. T. Lisher says, I don't know what's worse, losing to the goddamn Fighting Osprey or having 190 points scored against me in League Two for the third time. Go Niners regardless.
What? Third
Nico
time?
Collins can score you 60 tonight, maybe. Well, let's go back to the fact you're getting trounced again for the third time at over
90. That's not even a skill issue at that point. That's just bad luck.
That's bad. Happy Lefty says Tucker's holder needs to have Luciano Pavarotti in the headphones all week to get on the same page as Tucker. Unit needs to be in perfect harmony in order to be effective.
I'm stunned that this guy still has a job, and I imagine that he won't have that job going into next season because, John Harbaugh's a special teams coach. That's his specialty, and he does not like it when people mess up his special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Not thrilled.
Yeah.
And he has benched guys for less.
I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled that we just went an entire segment and we still haven't talked about another damn game.
No.
I'm still here waiting to talk about the Vikings and the Titans, which leaves us 6 more games to talk about in the next half hour. That is almost half the games that happened yesterday. We're gonna have to focus. We're gonna have to focus if we're gonna get this done by 5:30, when the Texans and the Dallas Cowboys play each other. You gonna watch? I don't know if I'm gonna watch.
I might watch a little, but I think it's going to get over pretty quick.
Texans, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Think the curtains will be up?
My guess is no, because Jerry's dumb.
They'll want to cover the glass in case more metal falls from the ceiling.
Yeah, that would be wise. Something.
Delicious says Top Robin St. Brown and Taysom Hill scored 90 combined. Yes, they did. Wow. All right, back with something. I don't know. The rest.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select warehouse clubs in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local retailer today. Navage, Navage. Breathe easy.
Sports betting apps are not created equal. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here to talk about the Sport Trade Advantage. With higher payouts, Sport Trade is the ultimate sports betting experience. Sport Trade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's changing in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, then Sport Trade is for you. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. And if you're an experienced bettor and prefer American odds, you'll get pricing closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110, coupled with instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. So download Sport Trade today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it. All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. Hey, that female Browns fan that's been texting in says, hey, I was Heather from the land, but haven't texted in a long while, so probably why no name came up. All right, well, your name is up now, so you're back in. Well, you see, people come and go on this show, and I don't ever get mad. I get sad. I'm like, oh, where'd you go? But I'm always happy when they come back. Just a Tip hasn't been here in a hot minute, and Heather from the land saying hello. So great to hear from all of you people. I wonder if or there's other people out there who haven't texted in a while. Who, people generally sit there and drive and listen, and they don't always text in. So that's cool. So if we haven't heard from you in a while, you can just say hi. I'm not gonna, I ain't mad if you ain't been around in a while. I just sometimes I'm like, oh, I miss that person right there.
And people's jobs change and their work schedules change and all that stuff. So,
So all right, we're trying to get through this. We're trying to talk about all the games that happened on Sunday, and we are behind. So let's get this thing moving. I think we can still do this. I'm not worried, but we got just this half hour before the Texans and the Cowboys play. So the Vikings, I don't know how they did it, but they beat the Titans. That was sarcasm. That was sarcasm, by the way.
I know. It was just a miracle. But yeah, I mean, the Vikings kind of get a nice little get right game with the Titans there, and they took advantage of it, put themselves back on track. Sam Darnold gets to go up against the defense that's not going to necessarily punish him for sometimes being Sam Darnold. And then their defense was able to make Will Levis look pretty bad because that's not hard to do.
Well, the real loser in this game was the officiating. The officiating, so bad. So very, very bad. Now, 23-13, 10-point difference. Yeah, you start to wonder, did that have enough of an effect? But, I mean, Gene Steratore, he just kept coming on the mic going, yeah, that was crap. He's like, that was a bad call. There was a horse collar call on a punt, and he's like, yeah, that ain't right. And then there was another call. Just so many bad calls in that game that Gene Steratore is like, I gotta go. I gotta go pick up my kids.
No penalties against the no penalties against. Well, no, hold on. Maybe that was first down penalties there. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up.
You're trying to say there's no penalties against the Titans?
Yeah, no. First, there were no first down penalties against the Titans. Yeah, there were 13 penalties against the Titans for 91 yards. That's what I was trying to find there. Yeah, so that absolutely must have had some impact in the game. Only 3 total against the Vikings.
It's just a mess. It was just a mess of officiating. And even if you're a Vikings fan and you got the W, you have to admit, it's like, this game was a mess of bad officiating.
Yeah, it's one of those games that's going to get lost in the weeds because of who the Vikings were playing, but it's not good that you can have that and have, like, the TV analyst and the TV official go, yeah, this is none of this is working. None of this makes any sense. Look at the
disparity. Tennessee had 13 penalties, 91 yards. Minnesota 3 for 35. And it wasn't just the fact that there was a lot more penalties. Sometimes one team will commit more penalties. Okay. But then when you look at the calls and you even.
Nope. I think we lost your audio there, Jeffrey, a little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to maybe come back online. Just sound like Max Headroom right now, but you are. There you are.
Oh, am I? Okay.
Yeah, even though your picture in the Zoom's not
Yeah, who cares
on
about
the
that?
YouTube. It's just
Do I look good though, or do I look like?
Well, you know what? Your eyes are actually open this time.
Oh, good.
So
That's good.
it just looks like you're mid word.
For a while there, I thought I just didn't photograph very well, and then my wife was like, "No, it's just that you're ugly." I'm like, "Oh, okay,
okay.
Thank you.
Damn.
As long as I know now, at least we all know. That's fine. So what was I saying? Did you catch anything I said? I don't even know what I was saying. This is not helping us get this done, by the way.
It's not helping at all. No, it's actually actively working against us. And I don't know exactly what you were saying.
It was brilliant, whatever it was.
But
basically just talking about all the penalties and the disparity between them, and saying, well, okay, so 13 penalties, 91 yards for Tennessee. Minnesota had 3 for 35, and okay, one team could have more penalties than the other. It happens, but Gene Steratore was basically like, this is all boo boo.
Yeah,
this is all boo boo.
And if they were bad calls, well, that's not great. It absolutely impacted the game because the Vikings had more first downs than the Titans did. 24 first downs to the Titans 11, and 7 of those first downs for the Vikings came from penalties.
Yeah. So
not a single penalty for the Titans resulted in a first down.
All right, Vikings fans, you won the game. You're probably gonna win. I mean, you're probably happy you won, but you got to be honest. If the officiating was bad, like if that happened with my Colts, I'd admit it. I would admit it. By the way, speaking of my Colts, hey, we won.
How about that?
What the hell? See, this was the version of Anthony Richardson that a lot of people were hoping we would get. Don't get excited, because it was the Jets.
It's the Jets. So yeah, like obviously you take that with a grain of salt. The Jets are a miserable football team. But I think that's the thing with Richardson is like he hasn't been all bad this whole time. It's when everything comes together for Anthony Richardson, he looks great. It just doesn't always do that. And sometimes you see when none of it comes together and you're like, man, is he even looking at the same game that everybody else is? And it's not clear. And you're and so like I don't want to.
Well, he still made some dumb mistakes in this game. And he still had some moments.
Yeah.
He lost a fumble. Of course, well, he was sacked. So, I mean, that happens, but still not good. He still made an errant throw or two where you're like, what are you doing, man? But in general, it seemed like that was some of those throws, I was like, damn.
Yeah, he's got a great
like a laser.
It's the reason why they drafted him. When he makes it work, you can see it. You go, oh, that's anybody would have drafted that guy. That when you see the way he played yesterday, any team in the league would have drafted that version of Anthony Richardson. The problem is all the other versions of Anthony Richardson.
I wasn't even going to watch, to be honest. I was not going to watch because I was set to watch. I thought a better game was to watch the Ravens and Steelers. Boy, I was wrong about that. So I was actually set to watch it, but then my Colts fandom, I'm just like, all right, put it on the big screen. I put it up on the big screen, put everything else in the little one, and watch it. It was funny because my wife, she normally doesn't watch that much of Colts with me. She'll come in for a little bit and leave, and I give her crap for it. And she's like, that's not true. I'm like, yeah, it's totally true. And yesterday, though, she came in at the end of the game and she started cheering for them like they're her own team, and made my heart proud. And it gave me warm fuzzies. And then she was like, yeah, she was really cheering at the end of the game when we won 28-27. She's like, yes, oh my gosh, yes. And I'm like, I was stunned. And I realized why. She'd picked the Colts.
she wanted her fan pick them picked.
That was it. Nothing else. She is worried about her Harmon Solar fan pick 'em picks. You know what? I'm going to go check something.
I'm not even going to look at my picks. They were not good this weekend.
No, they weren't. I checked them earlier.
I know.
You are correct.
I was look, it's a good thing I have fantasy football going well for me because it's not great.
You generally will only ever get one. You don't get everything in life.
Yeah, the fantasy football is going very well, so that's fine, I guess. But not this one. My
picks are going pretty good. and they're not as great as past years. But the fantasy football, I mean, the only thing that's keeping me alive is the fact that everyone below me is losing. That's it. That is
sometimes that's all it takes. Look, you just got to get in the playoffs so that you don't get relegated. That was my mission this year. Is like, look, we've got to buckle down here, because I don't want to be relegated again. That wasn't fun.
Just a tip says NHL refs, umpires they're all former players. NFL refs are just old men for the most part who can't keep up with play. That's not necessarily true anymore, just a tip. There's quite a few younger guys. Now, I don't know that any of them were ever players. You can make a case saying that maybe they don't understand or see the game the same way a player would, but then maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. But I will have to explore that thought process another time.
I know this isn't all the officials, but you remember the one official that outran everybody on the field to make sure he kept up with the play?
He got signed by a team.
I'm sure he did.
He needs to have.
Yeah. He's doing the wrong job.
Guy, it's like, did he just outrun you backwards? What the hell was that? So, all right. Yeah, we won a game. I'm very happy. Now we got to go play the Detroit Lions. Go ahead, Lions. Get cocky. Go ahead. I ain't saying that the Colts are coming to win this game, but go ahead and go ahead and sleep on them.
But as far as those players are concerned, those players think they've got something to play for.
Well, yeah, because they are just one game shy of 500, and who knows what could happen in that division.
They are one spot out of the playoffs. If the Broncos misstep and the Colts handle business, they're in.
Swazman says, Keon, remember, year ago today, you were a solid 9th place out of 10 in League Two, which I eventually won at 7-7 going into the playoffs. I don't think he needed the.
I know. I was there.
I don't think he needed the lesson.
I was there, and
he knows how this works.
Yeah, and I'm in the Premier League now, and I'm 5th. So I'll take that.
Unnamed texter says, "Aren't the NFL officials the only ones that aren't full time? Maybe pay them enough to where their other job doesn't affect their ability to ref." Dude, do you know how much they get paid? They get paid for their part-time job more than you make full-time.
So
I mean, I make a lot of money, but everyone else more than you make full-time.
Yeah, certainly.
888-368-1580. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, yeah. We can keep going. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, he's like, he just looked like he didn't care. He just out there playing that game, just like, well, I guess we're 3 and out, whatever. Don't care. Making money. Got a $112 million contract, $75 million guaranteed. My average annual salary is $37.5 million.
Yep, and that's the
I'll
guy
show
that
up for work every day.
Devontae Adams was battling to go play for this guy, and I'm just gonna say, stop following your friends, Devontae. This is not working out for you. You tried to follow Derek to L.A. to Las Vegas to be a Raider, and then you followed your boy Aaron to New York to be a Jet. These seem to be bad choices.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I'm in my 20th year. I found out a way to do this for a long time. So just got to remember why you fell in love with this game.
Oh,
How about you remember that somebody's paying you a bleep ton of money? $112 million for a couple of years, man.
Yeah.
Think about the fans at this point. He doesn't care about the fans.
I mean, he's not playing badly because he doesn't care, though. He also doesn't care, but that's not why he's playing badly. He's playing badly because he's old. He's just looks old.
41 years old.
Yeah, and he looks like it out there. I mean, he's overthrowing.
This is no fun
players.
for me. I'm 54. I'd like to think older guys can get stuff done, but let's just say this: at 40, that's your cutoff.
Yeah, I mean,
40 is your cutoff.
When we say old, we mean NFL old.
Yeah. I ran a 40-yard dash against somebody when I was 40, and I tore my hamstring. I didn't tear it in the race. I tore it getting ready for the race. And so I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do this anymore. I think this is it. That's it. That's the end of my competitive time.
Yeah,
done.
I had a friend of mine. He was 45. He was one of the best basketball players I ever played pickup basketball with. Tore his Achilles one day, and he was just like, "I'm all good here."
I'm going home now.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do from now on.
Somebody got a stick so I can work the pedals in my car on the way home.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
We saw him every Sunday, and he was like, "You know what? I'll be doing every Sunday after surgery, golf."
Yeah.
I
There
don't
you
run
go.
anymore. You're just like, yeah, who can blame you? Who can, because your body just can't do what it used to do.
All right. So we've seen a couple of guys go a little bit longer than into their 40s. But that's it. That's the cutoff. That is the cutoff. No more Mike Tyson. No more George Foreman. No more coming back.
Got to stop it.
Let's just understand where we are. Yeah, back in the old days, the life expectancy for us men, 35 years old. So, maybe there was a reason for that. So, yeah, that's it. No more. Aaron Rodgers, he's got to go. That's it. That's all I was really getting at there.
I agree.
So, Quiet Cannon says, yeah. The commentator on Sunday night, football is an ex-NFL player and an excellent commentator. He disagreed with a whole bunch of the calls on the field. Sunday night, what are you talking about? The Collinsworth? You talking about what are you talking about, Quiet Cannon? Bo Nix. Are you a Bo Nix believer yet? 4 touchdowns. Beat up on the Falcons.
Yeah, like he can play, but I'm not a Bo Nix believer in the sense that I think that like his odds jumped up for him to be leading for Rookie of the Year, and I think that that's insane. All of Bo Nix's biggest games are against some of the worst teams. That doesn't mean it's not impressive that he, as a rookie, threw 4 touchdowns. That's really damn impressive. He should feel good about that. The Broncos should feel good about that. And I think Bo Nix has a bright future, but I'm not going to read this as Bo Nix, the actual best quarterback in this draft class. I haven't seen that all season.
Oh, Quiet Cannon was talking about Sunday Night Football on the radio. By the way, I tuned into some of that. I heard Mike Golick on there. And then the announcer's like, oh, that's a hole so big I could have made it through there. And he's like, no, you couldn't. That just cracked me up. Mike Golick cracked me up with that one. He's just like, deadpan. No, you couldn't. Just, all right, you're fine. You're right.
That was hyperbole, Mike. Please, let me have this.
Anyway, so Bo Nix, all right, he's got a couple of good games, but Keon's right. This is the kind of education, if you're going to throw him out there. All right, this is good education. Remember, I said this entire first season for Anthony Richardson was supposed to be the education of Anthony Richardson. I had no illusions of winning any playoff games or anything, but then he got hurt. So now his education continues to hear. So now I'm still just like, okay. All right, that's fine. We win? Hey, we won. Hey, we lose? Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
let's just see if this turns into something.
I think of all,
and I still don't know if Anthony Richardson on my Colts is going to turn into anything.
Yeah, I mean the jury's still out for him. But with Bo Nix, I think Bo Nix wound up in a very nice situation for him specifically. He's exactly the kind of quarterback that his coach wants, and he does, the kinds of things that team needs. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. He's not turning the ball over a ton, and he has games where he just is very game manager, and it's they're not winning because of Bo Nix. And then he has at least 2 games where, like Sunday, they won because of Bo Nix. He was just playing great football, and he deserves credit for that.
Did the Falcons lose because of Kirk Cousins? I mean, Michael Penix Jr. had to come in and replace Kirk Cousins, and they still, that didn't help.
And it wasn't. He didn't play for very long, and I mean, he was 4 pass attempts in the game, so it wasn't like he was
2 of 4, 24 yards.
Yeah, so it's not like he was in relief of Kirk Cousins in the sense that like Kirk was so bad.
Get him a rep, I guess.
Yeah.
So what the hell's wrong with Kirk Cousins right now? I thought he was doing great, and all of a sudden he's gone.
He was doing great sometimes. Kirk Cousins has been up and down this whole year. He's had games where he's looked like, Vikings Kirk Cousins before he tore his Achilles, and he's had games where he's looked like, he's looked sometimes like a Washington Kirk Cousins. It's just I don't know. He's all over the place, and I think that part of it is the Achilles, that lack of mobility. He's never been a runner, but you take that away from somebody to be able to navigate the pocket. I think that clearly shows up on the field. And the Falcons just lay eggs sometimes.
Mr. Pink Eye, it's not proving anything. He says, didn't Herschel Walker fight in his 50s? Yeah, badly. There's field goal kickers and pitchers that play in their 40s. There's always an exception to a rule, but in general, no. Just the Tip says Golick is a close neighbor, wonderful human, great sled. He literally has a sled, or are you talking about his truck?
Because either could be on the table, quite frankly.
That's a good question, Slow-Mos, though. Would you compare Nix with Purdy?
I would actually. Yeah. Like they're guys that played a lot of games in college, so they had a lot of experience when they got to the NFL. There's like more of a pro style, way that they played in college that made them more prepared. And they're players who are clearly intelligent, but obviously every rookie needs an adjustment period to get to the NFL. So you put a little bit on their plate at a time until they're up to speed. And we saw what Brock Purdy looked like when he finally got going. And I think Bo Nix is going to get there.
We got 3 more games to talk about, and we have very little time to do it. Let's see what happens. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family. So I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
With all the school supplies your child will need over the years, it can be easy to overlook the most important one of all, money, which is a good reason to open an AZ 529 education savings plan. Whether you invest $15 or $150 a month, your money grows tax-free. By the time your little one is ready for college, vocational school, or workforce training, they'll have all the savings they need to get the job of their dreams. Visit az529.gov to get started.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holidays. That's why as a MyLowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Monday night means football on the Fanatic.
It's a battle for Texas when Houston travels to Dallas to take on Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, and Joe Mixon lead the Texans under the star of Texas for a battle royale to see who's king of the big state. Texans at Cowboys, Monday night at 5:30.
You're home for live NFL action, the playoffs, and Super Bowl 59. 1580 The Fanatic.
State Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Berg says mixing for 130, 2 touchdowns because Cowboys are that bad.
I think he means Mixon, Joe Mixon, and the Cowboys have the 31st ranked rushing defense. So,
okay,
yeah,
Hey, listen, doesn't matter to me because it looks like everybody below me is going to lose, except for maybe the Pinisher. He might be able to beat Ziggy because he's got CJ Stroud and Brandon Aubrey. So, maybe I will get knocked out. I don't know. All right. Let's see here. We have 3 games left to talk about. Geno Smith won one for the Seahawks, beating the 49ers 20-17. Does anyone care? Does anyone care?
In this division,
the 49ers, they're not doing anything this year. I don't know what's going on with the 49ers. I mean, we know there's been injuries with this situations, but I don't know. I'm not feeling like the 49ers are going after it this year, right?
I mean, it doesn't feel like it, but they still have the ability to make the playoffs. And as long as that's alive, if you can right your problems and fix those issues before the postseason, you can still be effective.
Here's how you know they won't, because the Seahawks beat them. The Seahawks just beat you. Seahawks stink.
I don't know.
The Seahawks we're 4-5 going in.
Yeah, I get that, but like 8-8 teams have won the Super Bowl before, namely Eli Manning's Giants beating Tom Brady's perfect Patriots. That's happened. So
that was God. God reached down and did that.
I mean, you
for everyone who couldn't stand the Patriots.
I mean, okay, sure, but it has happened. Like, if there's no reason to act like you can't do anything just because you're hovering around 500, especially if you're in a division where, outside of the Cardinals, everyone is 500. Rams 5-5, Seahawks 5-5, Niners 5-5.
Yeah.
So if that's the division, you just have to get in.
Yeah. Nothing is coming out of this division. How about that? Whistling Gerbil says they have Green Bay and Buffalo next. Yeah, that'll be the end of that. So let's talk about the Chiefs. Let's talk about the Chiefs finally losing, which is fine. It's kind of like when you get a new pair of sneakers and you're like, all right, nobody better scuff these damn sneakers. And you're like paranoid. You're like, oh my God, there's some water. Oh my God, and then somebody finally does. And after that, you're like, okay, fine, whatever. Now you can just relax. Now you can just be like, all right, so okay, fine. And Patrick Mahomes said it right. He's just like, yeah, it was cool, but it's all right. It's all right. I mean, now they're oh no, they're 9-1. The Chiefs are fine. The Chiefs always beat the Bills when it matters, and that's called the playoffs. And last night's yesterday afternoon's game, that was a fun game to watch. I really enjoyed it. I was glad I got to watch it. But I'll tell you what, though, the Chiefs, they lost it in the very first possession. That's when they lost the game. You can't convince me otherwise. Here they come. Whee! Whoop! It's like the first throw. Patrick Mahomes is like, you take it. And so I was like, well, there goes that.
And that's one of those reckless Mahomes plays that happens sometimes where he's so confident in his ability to throw the football that even while he is being tackled, he's gonna chuck it up there and see if he can get it to a receiver. No, just take the sack, man. You really don't have to do that. That's not. Oh, don't, Patrick. No.
So okay. That was the beginning of everything. Yeah, of course, the Chiefs were in the game. It wasn't like, but yeah, at the end, 30-21. Larry Zonka got to drink his champagne, which he did, toasting the 1972 Dolphins as he and other Dolphins. Are there any left? I don't know if it's just him now, but they always will toast when the undefeated team gets defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the show's over. Oh my gosh, we didn't make it today.
Oh no. We
sure
tried.
Chargers beat the Bengals. You know what's great about that game? Nobody watched.
That's it. Another big Joe Burrow game that the Bengals lose.
Yeah. Tree fell in the forest. Nobody cared. I mean, I watched it.
It was a fun game.
It was okay.
I liked it.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's just wasting Joe Burrow performances.
We've talked about every single damn game. We talked about it.
There we go.
Sort of. Well, listen, we got plenty more to talk about tomorrow when you guys all come back for it. Coming up right now, Westwood One's got you covered with the Texans and the Cowboys, if you're into that kind of kink. Otherwise, we will see you back here tomorrow at 3. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.